The multiverse of magic is one filled to the brim with lore, grand adventures, and epic battles. Hours can be spent recounting the tales of the planes and their inhabitants, but sometimes there are details often left out of retellings. Hidden away in the nooks and crannies of the many novels and short stories throughout Magic's history exists a treasure trove of truly trivial trivia that often goes unnoticed by the average Joe, or, in this case, the average Vorthos. So, today I've assembled a handful of Magic trivia that I, personally, found at least somewhat interesting, and I sincerely hope that you do as well. First up, a few of you may know about the legendary creature 8.5 Tails, but even fewer of you will know how he got that name. On Kamigawa, Kitsune gain more tails as they age and gain wisdom, and over the years, this Kitsune in particular, once known as Wise Muzzle, would gain a total of 9, becoming the spiritual leader of all Kitsune in the process. This elderly Ninetails conducted research into the nature of the realm of Kokuryō, research that Lord Kanda would later use to commit the crime that started the Kami War. Remorseful for his role in the conflict and wishing to atone for the lives lost as a result, Ninetails took his ceremonial blade and cut off one of his tails, thus earning his new name. The Guild Pact is a magical system that keeps the 10 guilds of Ravnica in balance, preventing all-out war between them by enforcing mystical restrictions that none can defy. The Guild Pact initially took the form of a mystical contract, one whose power was wound into the essence of Ravnica itself. After this, original Guild Pact was dissolved by the arrest of the Dimir Perun Zadok. Decades would go by until the new system, that of the Living Guild Pact, would be enacted by Azor's failsafe. But did you know that there was another Guild Pact? After the Decamillennial and the dissolution of the original contract, Teysa Karlov of the Orzhov would pen up a new document, one intended to act as a replacement to hold the city in balance. Unfortunately, this document did not have the mystical powers of the original, so none of the 10 guilds abided by it, and it was quickly forgotten. Over the years, Jace has acquired quite the collection of injuries. The Mind Mage has been battered and bruised, beaten and burned, yet, for the most part, he's suffered no permanent damage. However, rather early on in his career, he took an injury that follows him to this very day. During his time in the Infinite Consortium, Jace would accompany his boss, Tezzeret, to a meeting with the Forever Serpent, Nicol Bolas. This meeting occurred in a frozen canyon and, unfortunately, things went south, with Jace and Tezzeret being forced to run for their lives from Bolas's minions. While they did survive this event, Jace did not come out unscathed. In addition to being tortured by Tezzeret for his failure to stop Bolas, Jace also suffered a nasty case of frostbite thanks to these events, causing him to lose one of his toes. Now, we don't know which toe it was that he lost, but I like to believe it was one of the pinky toes, the most useless of toes. While Sorin Markov can certainly put on an air of perfection, he is not unflappable. While the vampiric planeswalker often refuses to admit it, he does have some shortcomings, among them his fear of heights. During the events of In the Teeth of Akum, an interesting magic novel to say the least, we learn that Sorin, while having no issue with draining others of their blood or fighting creatures that shatter reality, isn't the most comfortable with climbing and dealing with heights, at one point sweating profusely over the notion. I'm sure such a fear is a point of embarrassment for the otherwise prideful scion of House Markov. Don't worry, Sorin, your secret's safe with us. Finally, we have a character you've likely never heard of, the Pavilion Planeswalker. Now, when I say that this character was a Pavilion, I mean it. During the events of the novel Planeswalker, Urza would meet up with other Planeswalkers during his many travels across the worlds. He met a group of these walkers on the abandoned plane of Ghostal, and among them was one known as Manatarkua. Now, Manatarkua was a pretty cautious individual, and she took the form of a pavilion during this meeting. Unfortunately, we never do find out what this character really looks like, since she dies when an unknown assailant attacks the assembled Planeswalkers with what is described as a yellowish-green sun. Over the years, Planeswalkers have taken many forms: humans, dragons, even cats, but a pavilion, now that's unique. And that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, then please subject the like button to a meat hook massacre. If you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, you'll be alerted whenever I upload new videos. Finally, this video was brought to you by my amazing patrons. Patrons support my channel with their donations, and in return they get access to all my lore videos early. If you want to help me out, then go ahead and check out my Patreon page. A link will be in the description below. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day.